Hey beautiful souls, just because I haven't been on live stream long enough, I need to come on, right? Just come out of the new moon, the animal shaman ceremony, which was something else, activating a new level of light as we move into 2020. Hence, I've still got my ceremony gear on in this little portal of space that we are in. So amazing. This is the final days too as well, guys, for the Life Purpose Accelerator. You really need to be questioning where you want to be in 12 months time, right? I'm not sure if you guys have thought about that, but as we are moving into 2020, this is something else that we are moving into, right? This is a different level of energy as we move into 2020. And even though it's the light bringer and we are moving forward into accelerated consciousness and accelerated light bodies on the earth, I do feel like there will be a lot of people feeling a lot of darkness still, yeah? I feel like the biggest part about moving into 2020 and beyond in the light bringer is that it has to come from a conscious choice. It has to come from a conscious choice to choose to do the work, to choose to pull yourself out of the darkness. Now, when I say darkness, I mean heavy energy, dark feelings, trauma, unhealthy, toxic relationships, situations you should have left long time ago. Like, that's what I mean when I say darkness. Yeah, stuff that you know your intuition is telling you to leave and you're not listening. That's what darkness is. Yeah, when you're not listening to your intuition, that's when you spiral down into the darkness. So I ask you, where do you want to be in 12 months time, right? The Life Purpose Accelerator is the inner circle where we go deep into this, right? If you want to really accelerate where you're heading beyond 2020, the inner circle Life Purpose Accelerator is for you. So hey guys, hi Loretta, hi Matthew. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I felt called to jump on here and just give a little touch base because we are in the new moon energy now. We have definitely moved past that portal of light, the portal of darkness, moving through the dark moon. We just did that in ceremony. Let me share this and I'm going to keep talking because I felt called to come on because remember, even though like now we're in new moon energy, which was starting to come out of that, you know, like the dark moon, the past 4-5 days, week even, it's like heading into darkness, so shedding. Now, even though we've stepped into the new moon cycle and we're moving forward, it's like this is like so a couple of days is Halloween, yeah, the sun wins, so we're in a very dark portal. Remember, I keep harping on about this for a very good reason. Okay, so let me share this. And I wasn't going to come on live stream, but after that ceremony I'm like we're just like in there for like 2 hours and they're like, so now do a public live stream, and I'm like, okay, just because I haven't been on live stream long enough. Right? Yeah, hey beautifuls. All right, let me share this and I shall be present with you. Okay, so where do you guys want to be in 12 months time? Have you even thought about that? Do you guys even think like that? Like, do you guys like think, okay, 12 months down the track, you know, 5 years down the track, 10 years down the track, like who has that sort of a vision? Who has that space of really coming into where you want to be? Where do you want to be? What goals are you working towards? Tell me. Because this next couple of like, you know, we're moving into the age of light. Like, this is a big deal. We've just released it consciously in ceremony in the Animal Shaman, which if you want to jump in and catch the replay, you still can. It's definitely sitting there. Hey Amanda. Okay, let me share this. I'm going to share this on here. And I'm curious, guys, how you guys are feeling. Like, have you moved through that dark portal? Like, do you feel like, yep, finally out the other side? Or do you still feel like that, what's going on? Because I feel like the energy has shifted a bit, but I do feel like there's still a lot of, what's the word? Like, kind of lack of motivation or lack of direction. Like, for a lot of people, like, I feel there's a lot of people just kind of like wanting to get motivated, but just don't or can't, or like it feels almost like they're wanting to move forward, but they're like And then I also feel like there is a wave of people that are really like actually in a lot of peace right now. And I was actually talking to a client about this, that I feel like there's like these two waves or something. Yeah, it's like these, you know, and I wonder what sort of energy, like timeline wave that is, you know, like the inside and the outside. And yeah, I'm curious about that. Okay, cool. So just because I've come out of that ceremony and I just got the message then I'm actually going to read the Earth's energies right now. What's 90 degrees out? Is that what that is? Is that what we're talking about? 90 degrees out, when I'm like, these waves. So interesting, right? So I'm going to do a collective energy read. And this is so interesting because I'm talking about the predictive. I don't do predictive readings. I don't tell the future. Zero motivation for about a week now. Yeah, it's interesting, right? And I feel like this wave, like, and it's actually, we're talking about this in the Animal Shaman group, this like the light that's coming into the planet that's being infiltrated. Oh my goodness, what is that word? Whatever that word is, the light that is being, I say embedded, but it's not embedded, it's being activated. Like the light's already here. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel like as we move into 2020, it's like, especially these next 3 months is going to be like this energy. Like I don't, you know, and I don't know where I was saying this not long ago, but I don't feel like this energy is going to shift anytime soon. Like I definitely, like, obviously we're in Mercury retrograde. I think it started somewhere around now. And the other day I was getting the message like until the 16th of November. I feel like the first 2 weeks of December are going to be like a big reprieve. And I feel like there'll be like even the last week of November even, I feel like there'll be like a lot of, like we'll feel a lot of light and we'll feel like we can breathe again for a minute. We'll feel like there is that space of like feel happy and like, oh my God, thank goodness for that. But I feel like between, you know, Christmas, New Year, even into mid-January, I feel like it's going to be quite tricky energy for a lot of people. So please keep that in mind, guys. Like, you know, and the thing is when we're talking about, you know, like these energies and how do we work them, and the wave passes and then it comes back and like, oh my God, why am I feeling this again? And why is this here again? You know, like that portal around Christmas time last year was pretty heavy energy for a lot of people too. Yeah. And I feel like these energies that, you know, as more light is infiltrated, that's the word I was looking for, infiltrated, as the light is poured into the planet or activated within the planet, vice versa, right? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? As that gets activated, like there is a lot of light on the planet. And it's so interesting. This is what I want to talk about. The, you know, in Australia here, you guys might have seen like Uluru, like a couple of weeks ago or however long ago it was like they're closing the public access or any access to anyone to climb Uluru. Like as rock, it's like it's sacred ground for the indigenous. Like it's actually, what did they say it? I don't know why I'm losing those words. You know, like it's not right to walk on Uluru right now, right? And so they closed that, and so now it's become sacred again. Like, and you know, the indigenous are doing like sacred ceremony or what have you to bring it back to its sacredness. Like you're not allowed to climb it, right? It's like, look, it's frowned upon by the indigenous, and now it's closed to the public. Like you're not allowed to do that anymore, right? And I just think like this is such a celebration because this is a prime example of the ripple effect about how our inner world affects our outer world. So like our sacred grounds are returning. Like, can you really comprehend the depth of that? Like our sacred grounds are returning. Like this is pretty special, right? And when we look at the sacred grounds, like how many of us have been doing personal development work, being you know, like connecting in, meditating, building that sacred ground within. And now look at that prime like example of the ripple effect of now sacred Uluru is back. And in that post that I said the other day around like that is like the solar plexus of Australia. Like that is the power center. Like the solar plexus is your self-worth, self-esteem, trust in self, belief in self, self-worth. Like it is a powerhouse, right? Our solar plexus, it's where we feel empowered or disempowered. And when we look at that becoming sacred in the world again, there's only a matter of time before everyone starts feeling empowered again, right? It just so happens, and I'm like, what a surprise, like, you know, I didn't like trust your intuition. My course is based in the solar plexus. Like, it is a solar plexus course. Like, to trust your intuition is based in the solar plexus. It's your self-esteem, it's your self-worth, it's stop being confused and stop taking on other people's stuff and swallowing their truth. It's like, what is yourself and trusting in your intuition. Like, that is based in the solar plexus. And I think, wow, look at the timing of Uluru now being sacred again, and like that's gonna have a power effect into the entire world. Like, it's only just beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is huge, yeah, on an energetic collective level. Like, this is a big freaking deal, yeah. So I just woke up, awesome, love it. Hey Tammy. So I just think it's so powerful and potent to have this awareness and look at the timing, right? In a time of, you know, and I saw someone the other day, like, someone's like, you know, the world isn't in chaos. The world is waking up, you know. And remember how I say, you know, like, when we have a spiritual awakening, the crown chakra automatically activates the heart. Like, and what happens? We start to feel all the like hurt and pain and everything we've shut down, like, because the crown chakra and the heart chakra are oh my god, these words, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce them. They're sitting there. They're like deeply connected, right? When we activate the crown, the heart automatically activates, because the crown chakra activates all the spiritual wisdom, connection from the collective consciousness, whatever that is, comes in. Like, we're finally opening to receive it. And that alignment with collective consciousness, with the divine plan, whatever you want to call it, it's deeply connected to our heart. Like, our heart is in alignment with our crown, like with spirit, collective consciousness, like all of that, right? Stay quantum, you reckon? Hey, what is this word with quantum? Some people, I don't know, this quantum, intuitive, psychic, energy, to me, yeah, it's all the same. It's all energy. Yeah, it's all energy. Put whatever label you want to put on it. Christ consciousness, divine, spirituality, consciousness, quantum, healing. Like, to me, it's all the same. Yeah, it's all the same field. People would probably beg to differ, and I'm like, yeah, let's extend our gifts. And it's, you know, when it's that connected, there's no separation there. That's just my take on it. So Ricky, yeah, and I start trusting intuition at the same time of the closing. Yeah, so interesting, right? Because I've been guided to like, this is the last time you can get into trust intuition, guys. On Thursday midnight, it's closing. You won't see trust intuition opened like this again. You won't see it's at this low level investment cost either, and the price is significantly increasing. My words, after being on live stream channeling through that animal shaman ceremony, my words are like not guided there. So trust intuition is increasing and changing, and it's so interesting that this sacredness is coming back to Uluru, and trust intuition is like based in the solar plexus, and I'm like, wow, this is really significant because of where I see and what I've been guided to do with reality awareness, and where this is going to shift the collective consciousness. I'm like, okay, this makes total sense to me in that regard, right? So when we look at the sacredness and the empowerment that's coming back as we move into 2020 and beyond, like I said in Animal Shaman just before, like, yes, it's a light bringer. Yes, that, you know, it's, I was get covered in goosebumps as I say this, right? And I just feel like this is such a truth core that if you've ever felt the call, or, you know, if you've ever felt the call to be a healer or to step into your gifts or to do this as work, like, the next 10 years is going to be such accelerated, rapid growth on the planet. Like, you guys know when you have a spiritual awakening, right? It is chaos. You feel all this hurt and pain, and you can't stop crying, and you're like, well, this is not supposed to be like the awakening and amazing, right? Because we hit all that pain. Like, if you can imagine, the world is doing that right now. Like, the people, the collective is waking up. So it is going to seem like chaos. It is going to seem like things are not as they seem. Like, you know, all this truth is surfacing. It's like, yeah, people are finally waking up. And you know what it feels like the next 18 months is going to be a pretty heavy energy on the planet. Like, as we move into, yes, we're dawning into the age of Aquarius. Yes, the light bringer. With lots of light comes lots of dark. Why? Because when we awaken, like when we use that analogy and the crown opens and the light finally comes in, the crown and the heart's automatically activated. all that pain that's been shut down and bucketed down and whatever is finally, like, the light's finally coming in. We're finally feeling that. Like, that's a pretty big deal when we look at it on a collective level. So when you feel like, you know, you'll either be one or two people. You'll be someone that everyone just tells their problems to, and you're like helping everyone, and then you're like, you know, like, you already do that. And or you will feel a call like, oh my goodness, I need to do this work. Like, it's a soul calling, right? I need to learn more about it. I need to step into it full time, or anything like that, right? You'll know that your purpose is calling you. Like, it is a soul calling. So when we look at that moving into 2020, like, you know, like, people like, when is this going to end? Like, I feel like there will be a reprieve around the last couple of days, last week of November into the middle of December. And then I feel like there'll be like another dip, another wave. So just be mindful, like, you know, when we've got our own stuff going on, it can be really tricky to remember that it's collective, and it's kind of like, oh, but this just happened, and, you know, it's shifting through, and it's like learning to ride the waves, being able to support yourself, and then also being aware that other people are going through the same thing on an energetic level. So then it's like, how do we hold space for them plus ourselves as well, right? As we shift into the light, moving into that, it brings more darkness that people are awakening. Yeah, people are feeling for the first time. So when you see all the bad stuff happening in the world, this is like the truth surfacing, you know, like, you know, like if you think of the crown opening and it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden, woof, like the truth of the reality of all the hurt and pain that all these countries and all these people have been hiding, or having to just not even face or feel, like all that starting to surface up. Like, that's what happens when there's an awakening. Like, the truth comes out, and the truth isn't always pretty. The truth can be hurtful, right? So really allowing yourself to come into that space of deep compassion, looking after yourself, your energy, like, and moving into 2020, and we're talking about this as well, like, it feels like radical lifestyle changes are like knocking on your door. Like, I feel like you're already getting messages around changing diet, lifestyle. Like, it just feels like big radical changes. Like, you can't not do them anymore as we move into 2020 and beyond. Like, I really feel that. So I don't know if you guys have been getting that, like, if that's, anyway, I'm curious if you have been getting that big knock on the door, like, you know, radical life changes. Like, it's really strong for a lot of people. And I just feel like as we move further into the age of Aquarius, remember I said, like, it's that sense of, yes, the change is knocking on the door, you can't ignore them anymore, but it's a choice. It is a conscious choice. And I feel like part of the lack of motivation and lack of enthusiasm or energy or anything is stemming from a big place of, like, it is a conscious choice to move in that direction. Like, you literally have to choose it, or you won't, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to choose the light. It's easy to stay wallowing in the darkness, like it is in all the negative emotions. Remember, when I say darkness, I mean negative emotions. Yeah, big change happening, super strong. Yeah, feeling it so strongly. Yeah, and it's just like you can't ignore it anymore. And it's just like, you know, when you think of, you know, if you're struggling to let go of the negative spiral or the darkness or whatever, it's kind of like asking yourself, what am I scared about being in the light? What is scary about being super healthy and super conscious and super aware and super, like, motivated? Like ask yourself, what am I scared about that? Because your brain and subconscious, everything will tell you, because in that space, it's like, it's easy to sit in the darkness. It's easy to sit in the unmotivation. It's easy to sit in all that, because it's what kind of used to, right? When we think of the age of Aquarius and the dawning and the light bringer and all that consciousness, like, it's a new level of consciousness. It's a new level of energy. It's a new way of being in the world. Like, in 10 years time, we will just be like, wow, how did the earth ever survive that? Like, you know, like, back now, it's like, how did we even function in that, like, energy? Like, and I feel like what it is us moving into, like, choosing that new way of being. It's like, it's coming and everything. It's like, no, we're choosing it. It'll come when we choose it, you know, in that sort of regard. So I said that I would pull some, because we've just come out of the animal shaman ceremony, so I'm all in the, like, animal shaman energy, out of the Druid Oracle deck. I think the screen's still back to front, but that's all good. So out of the Druid Animal deck as a collective, just tuning in, and it's funny enough that that's the front, and I've just pulled Hawk. Yeah, so the hawk, and the bottom card is the bull. So I'm just going to have a look there of what they mean, because I'm still learning this deck. So yeah, you guys feel it so strongly. I love that. I love that. So I'm wondering, do you choose the light? Like, do you choose it? Are you choosing it? Will you choose it? If not now, when, right? So the hawk, let's have a look here. The hawk is nobility, recollection, and cleansing. Ah, what a surprise, right? Cleansing, and we're just talking about complete diet lifestyle change, like complete change, yeah? So the hawk, brings the ability to see your life in perspective, to free you of unnecessary baggage. Oh my goodness, talk about collective readings is right on point for what we're saying, right? And connect you to your ancestral roots. So I'm curious, guys, with the lifestyle changes and the radical big changes that you're feeling guided to make, and you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I have to do this, like, where you're already starting to make those changes, does it connect you back to your ancestral roots? Does it connect you back to your home? Does it connect you back to old, ancient, traditional ways, natural ways? Yeah, I'm really curious for you. And it says, see if you can take some time out of your daily routine to survey your life calmly and to see events in context. And what comes to mind as I say that is I feel like I don't know if it's just me, but the need to meditate is increasing. Like creating a solid meditation routine, committing to it on a daily basis. Like I feel like that strong pull is really increasing. I don't know if that is for you guys as well, but a really like connected daily routine to but in increasing amounts of meditation. So I don't know if that's coming through for you guys, but I feel like that's what that's about. The hawk can help you to recollect missing pieces of the jigsaw that you will be trying to assemble, and he will help to spot the details which are significant. When you have a sense of your roots and the breadth of your life, you will start to feel pride and a growing sense of nobility and stature. Once you know where you've come from and where you are going, your life will be filled with inspiration and enthusiasm. You will sense a new day dawning, and you will be able to make decisions with confidence. And I feel like that's a big sense of it, right? It's a really big sense of being able to ground in. So that whole thing of like connecting to your roots, like if you guys have been watching like my stories on Instagram and stuff, I pulled some cards, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and it's like get grounded, like, and it's like all these lifestyle changes, like a strong connected meditating routine, like exercise, diet, lifestyle changes. It's all about being grounded. It just feels like if we're not grounding our spirituality, that's when many things happen. We get physical illnesses, we go off path, like all that sort of jazz. So I feel like this is like bringing all the pieces of the puzzle together. And when we have that solid connected routine and connected into the roots. So Alicia says, yeah, I've been making lots from scratch, bread, butter, etc. Awesome. And meditation every morning. Awesome. They're spitting everywhere, the bread and butter. I just bought butter the other day as well, like from the markets, the homemade stuff. Like, yeah, it's so good, right? Going back to the ancestral roots, like really grounding down. So good. I love that. All right. So the bull is the overlying card. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, I'm really hot in here too. I'm like sweating, coming out of that animal shaman. It's like I'm in a sweat lodge in here, like in the thing. I need to turn the aircon on. Okay. Didn't think it was that much summertime yet. Ready for aircon. All right, so the bull. This is the overlying message. So interesting. Wealth, potency, and beneficence. Beneficence. Now, interesting. Wealth, potency, and beneficence. Now, with this, wealth and potency, and this, when we look at Taurus, the bull is very much about that, yeah. And when I think of a bull, I think of being grounded, yeah. For whatever reason, when we look at wealth and potency, like being grounded in our body, you always hear me talk about it. Being grounded is the key to strong intuition, and stability comes from being grounded in your body, yeah, creating stability in your life. So I feel like part of the ancestral roots and coming down and all the pieces of the puzzle coming together are very much around grounding everything we've learned. Like when we look at the light bringer in the 2020 and moving forward in that direction, everything that we've been learning and awakening, and look at like the sacred lands coming back, like now is a time for empowerment, not disempowerment. Oh my goodness, ding. I feel like that's, if there was one word for the decade of 2020 that we are moving into, it's empowerment. That's why I'm covered in goosebumps as I say that. When we look at potency in our gift, potency in our power, potency in equality, in all of it, like empowerment, like that comes from being grounded, creating stable routines, like connection to self. It's connection to self. Feeling empowered is about being grounded and the connection to the self. The purpose of meditation is connection, to connect in with self. Yeah? So the bull, okay. So bull mediates the influence of Tyrannus, the Jupiter-like god of the Druids. And Tyrannus, so the Jupiter-like god, Jupiter is all about expansion, yeah? Whose beneficence and expansiveness bring the opportunity for a rich and abundant life, yeah? And when we're connected to ourselves, there's an abundance. When we are connected, we feel abundant. When we are disconnected, everything is lack and scarcity. Yeah, so increasing your meditation routine, coming back to your roots, big lifestyle changes connects you. And in that connection, there's your potency, there's your abundance, and all your problems are answered. Yeah, all the solutions are on the table. So it says here, the bull is a symbol of wealth, and it is auspicious to draw this card when considering financial matters. But remember, the ancient ones understood that true wealth is found in the heart and soul first, and only then in the material world. Now, what was I just saying around the purpose and depth of Uluru and the sacredness coming back? That is the outside manifestation of all the sacredness of how many people have been awakening and connecting to their sacred self and reclaiming their sacred self and clearing past life wounds of being burnt at the stake for being sacred. Yeah. And this, as it said, right, and this is what I was saying, I'm like, when you feel that connection, everything is abundant. That is where it stems from, right? So the bull represents fertility, potency, abundance and prosperity, things that can sometimes take a while to achieve. If your goals require to work steadfastly in trying circumstances for a considerable period of time, the bull will help you to succeed without becoming drained or depressed. So that combined with Hawk's message, potent. All the pieces of the puzzle coming together, connecting with ancestral roots, grounding down in those ancestral changes, like the lifestyle changes as we move back to the age of Aquarius. And choosing the light is choosing yourself, is choosing the ancestral roots. Like 100%, no doubt about it. There is the messages for you on this new moon cycle. If you needed any more confirmation, ding, you just got them, right? Love it, love it, love it, love it. So if you are watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. There is only 4 more days to get into Trust Your Intuition and the Inner Circle. They both close on the 31st at midnight. That is Australian Eastern Standard Time, so it's Thursday night, so it might be Wednesday, depending on where you are in the world. So I'll pop the link in the comment as well for that, or you can send me a message with any questions, because if you've been thinking about getting into the Life Purpose Accelerator, like really ask yourself where you want to be in 12 months time, because this is the time, like when we've just gone through and looked at what we're moving into, is kind of not the time to wait around anymore, right? It's really grounding in your purpose and accelerating it to the next level as we move into the age of Aquarius, because it is about choosing the light. You have to choose yourself. You have to make the changes that are connecting you back into the wealth and your soul, because that is where your gift is. And until you do that on the deepest level and clear out all the trauma that has stopped you until now, you will still be where you are in 12 months time, probably feeling more depressed, right? So yeah, you're so welcome, guys. If you think this can help somebody, please share it with them, or share it on your page, or you can tag them in the comments or send it to them in a private message. And I shall see you guys really soon. Lots of love, lots of new moon love. Let's ground in those intentions. I love you.